The release of the Nintendo Switch is right around the corner, and I for one couldn't be more excited. But before we make the leap into the next generation, let's not forget about the confusing little box that is the Wii U. Sure, it may have failed to live up to expectations, but it did have some really great exclusives that are still worth picking up. So let's run down my top 5 favorite games for the Wii U. Number 5. Nintendo Land. A Nintendo-themed amusement park is something that fans have always dreamed of. Nintendo Land made that dream a reality with 12 minigames made up to look like attractions in the theme park. Each game is based on a popular Nintendo franchise. You can fire arrows in Zelda Battle Quest, chow down in Yoshi's Fruit Cart, or speed through courses in Captain Falcon's Twister Race. There are a mix of single-player, cooperative, and competitive games with varying degrees of complexity. Here's where Nintendo really showed off what the Wii U gamepad had the capability of doing, with its touchscreen, built-in camera, microphone, and motion controls. The single-player games all use the gamepad, but the multiplayer games have one player using the gamepad and the rest using Wii remotes. Depending on the controller used, you would get a completely different gameplay experience. In Luigi's Ghost Mansion, one player controls the ghost and tries to grab the other players using the gamepad to show their location. The others try and bust the ghost with their flashlights, but they can't see the ghost's location on the TV, and only the rumble from the Wii remotes will clue them in onto its location. It makes for some spooky fun that will leave your group laughing. Sure, some of the games are a bit shallow, like Octopus Dance, a Simon Says type rhythm game, but other games like Metroid Blast and Pikmin Adventure are anything but mini. Nintendo Land not only showcases all these incredible franchises, it does something that Nintendo always does best. Gives us simple and addictive gameplay that anyone can enjoy. Number 4. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Mario is Nintendo's bread and butter, I get it, but he hogs up the spotlight in like a million different games. Recently, side characters have been stepping out of his shadow and getting their own spin-off games. And now it's Toad time, baby! Treasure Tracker was originally a minigame found in Super Mario 3D World, which then became its own full-fledged game in 2014. You gain control of Captain Toad on his quest to rescue Toadette, but he doesn't seem to be in that much of a hurry because he still takes the time to hunt for treasure along the way. Each stage is a small puzzle and obstacle course that will typically only take up the size of one screen. The goal is simply to try and reach the Power Star, but unlike a traditional platformer, you can't jump, and your means of attacking are limited to throwing radishes. Instead, you can activate platforms, bridges, and blocks so they move into a position that can help you climb higher and higher. You also use the gamepad to rotate the camera around to get a better view of the terrain, enemies, and treasures. This is another game that actually tried to make use of the gamepad, something few games even bothered with. It's a simple concept, but of course it will get trickier the further you progress. Surprisingly, there are even a few boss battles and some minecart stages that will help give you a break from all the puzzles. The graphics are bright and colorful, the typical Nintendo style, but that's not to say it doesn't look great. Treasure Tracker is a charming and lovable spin-off game that will give you a chance to relax while still having a fantastic gameplay experience. Number 3. Splatoon. This single game will be the Wii U's legacy. There are a lot of amazing games on the system, but most are from well-established franchises. Splatoon came out of nowhere and took the multiplayer shooter genre and turned it on its head. Nintendo is always getting bashed for making too many kiddie games, but I think this mindset of staying family-friendly is what helps them make creative games like this. Splatoon's main mode is a 4 vs 4 turf war, where whichever team covers more ground in their paint color wins the battle. Your character can transform into a squid and swim through your own paint color to move around quicker and to avoid being seen by enemies. But if you get hit with enough of your opponent's paint color, then splat! You are sent back to your team's base and have to wait to respawn. Instead of blood, guts, gore, and generic tough guys, you get paint globs and squid kids, a trade-off I'd like to see more often. While the main focus may seem to be on the multiplayer aspect, don't let that trick you into thinking that the single-player campaign isn't fun. In fact, the single-player mode is my personal favorite. Yes, you still have your ink shooter, but now the goal is to try and reach the end of the level while battling different foes in your path. This effectively turns the game from a shooter to a platformer with some epic boss fights. Splatoon has a unique style all its own, and while there's nothing wrong with games like Call of Duty and Battlefield, when something like Splatoon comes out, it's completely refreshing for the genre. Splatoon got its start on the Wii U, becoming a runaway hit, and now it looks like it will become a premier franchise for the big end. So thanks, Wii U! Number 2. Super Mario 3D World. Come on, you knew Mario was going to make an appearance on this list. 3D World is like a celebration and amalgamation of all Mario games that have come before it. The game plays like a 2D Mario where you have to reach the flagpole at the end of the level, but the stages are extremely large 3D courses littered with classic and new enemies, power-ups, and even quite a few secrets. Like the new Super Mario Bros. Games, there is a 4-player simultaneous co-op. You can play as Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, and now even Rosalina, with each character having different abilities and benefits, which is a throwback to Mario 2. Obviously, you can work together to make it to the end of the course, but in an interesting twist for Mario games, you can compete against each other for the high score and the glory of winning the crown at the end of the level. 3D World offers all that you love from a Mario game in stunning HD, but now with cats. Yep, one of the new power-ups is a cat suit, which lets you climb walls, claw at enemies, and do pounce jumps. It's silly, but it gives it that whimsical feeling that only Nintendo is capable of. Mario games have a tendency to start out really easy, and then the difficulty really ramps up in the later levels. 3D World's last secret level ups the ante from challenging to downright insane, but you'll feel unstoppable if you manage to complete it. A phenomenal soundtrack makes this game even better, with a lot of jazzy pieces, and the main melody is one of the most memorable that I've heard from a Mario game in recent years. The mustachioed plumber is the biggest icon in gaming, and Nintendo has always given us a strong entry for each console, and Super Mario 3D World is no exception. Number 1. Bayonetta 2. Not just my favorite game on the Wii U, but also my favorite hack and slash game of all time. In this sequel, Bayonetta returns, and she's looking to save her friend Jean from the depths of hell by handing out the beatdowns to all demons standing in her way. The story tends to get off the rails from time to time, but it's okay because like the rest of the game, there is beauty in its chaos. At its core, the goal is to battle with Hellspawn and other gigantic creatures using a plethora of weapons from whips to swords and chainsaws to Bayonetta's signature gun stilettos. And depending on what weapons you have equipped, it will change how the game plays. The combat is easy enough to learn with a punch, kick, and jump button, but the sheer amount of combos you can learn is mind-boggling. It's so satisfying pulling off some of the more difficult ones in a fight. You'll also need to master Bayonetta's most useful ability, called Witch Time, if you want to succeed. When you perfectly dodge an attack, time will slow down momentarily for all enemies, and you can proceed to beat the ever-loving snot out of them. What I really love about this game is the character and enemy design. There are so many outrageous looking beasts that range from human size to colossal. After besting an enormous boss, you think to yourself, they couldn't possibly get any bigger than that, right? Until they do. The combat is a delight, and the sheer amount of options given to you will make it accessible for players of all skill level. Bayonetta is a heroine right up there next to the likes of Samus, a downright badass, powerful woman who saves everyone. If you have a Wii U and you don't have Bayonetta 2, get it. And those without one should consider getting the system, if only to play this game. There you have it, my 5 favorite games for the Wii U. The console has taken a lot of abuse over the past few years due to its poor performance, but it did leave us with a few awesome games and some good memories. Did any of your favorite games make my list? Do you think I'm a big dumb idiot and my list is wrong? Well, let me know your 5 favorite Wii U games down in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching everyone, I will see you next time. And remember, it's all fun and games. Thanks for watching everyone. If you liked that video, why not watch my review of Double Dragon 4? And if you like what I'm doing, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks again.